Anin, bonjour, Makadebani Sainish Nakas, Mikazito Dem. Hi, it's Jaime here, and today I'll be talking to you a little bit about the full moon names that I've heard for the April full moon. Some of these names may differ depending on who you're talking to, or they may be something completely different. So I like to share in a way that says, this is what I've heard so far. If you have something you would like to share, please go ahead and comment. I encourage, the sharing of our beautiful teachings. And I'm just going to start with a smudge. And for you. Okay. So, like I said, I've heard a few different names for this particular full moon, and I'll share what I've heard so far. And I've heard of the pink moon, the mating moon, goose moon, maple moon, and then depending when the full moon falls, the egg moon. I'll share a brief teaching about each one, and if you would like to share, go ahead. So, I've heard of the name the pink moon, and that refers to a very low-lying ground cover plant, and when it's not covered by snow around this time of year, when it blooms, it actually has a pink blossom. And as that moon rises, it almost takes on a pinkish hue at times, therefore referring to as the pink moon. The mating moon, obviously it's springtime, and a lot of the smaller animals are mating now so that they'll have their babies at the peak of summertime, or just before the peak of summertime, so that they'll have most of the summer to raise their babies and show them what food to eat or how to do certain things that they need to know, or how to build a nest, for example. They'll actually show them all that stuff, and then for a lot of critters, they'll be ready to live on their own by the time fall time comes, or sometimes they'll stay with the parents through to the next season, but a lot of the times they get the boot. For the goose moon, this refers to the migratory bird, the goose. For the winter time, we see them migrating south for the winter, and now they're returning to the land and they're starting their nesting phase. For the maple moon, this is the time of year when, of course, the snow is melting and the trees are starting to wake up and they're starting to draw a lot of water to get ready for the budding of the leaves. And we will actually tap maple and sometimes even birch trees, depending on what trees you're around or what's available. And the water, or the sap, I should say, that comes out is slightly sweet. And the teaching is that that's what we used to drink to wake our bodies up, to help us prepare for the work of the coming summer. If you've ever had maple syrup, it's very, very thin, and it's quite a process to actually boil it from the gallons of the slightly sweetened water sap to the syrup. The range of difference is staggering, and the amount of effort that it takes to get it to that point is pretty significant. So it's one of the reasons why it's definitely a treat. And the same for birch water. You could do the same. It tastes a little bit different, but it's the very similar idea. And then we have the egg moon. So the egg moon refers to the fact that there are some birds that are having their nest eggs right now. They're literally laying their eggs so that they're sitting with them, nesting them, so that they'll be hatching sometimes within a month, sometimes a little bit longer. But then by then, the weather will be warmer and they'll get to be able to take them out and show them what to do to live in this world. So I think that's all I'm going to share for the full moon names that I've heard so far. And then I wanted to share a little bit about making moon water. So you take a jar or any other container that you have that you're able to ideally fill with water and leave open to the air in the moonlight, and you bring it back in. I would only fill it up to about here in case it freezes, and then it has room to rise in a jar. Basic canning stuff. But if you have to leave it covered, then, or if you're worried about stuff falling into it, then you might only fill it halfway and if it freezes, to let it rise, and it won't burst your jar. Unless you have a plastic water bottle or something that you want to use, that's fine too. The idea with moon water, though, is that it becomes infused and becomes medicine. Anytime that we pray with that water, that we're asking the spirit of that water to help us, that is ceremony in itself right there. And I know that a lot of people are having a hard time to be able to get out to a lodge because a lot of them literally are underwater right now. This is like a little bit that you could do, and if it helps you bring or it helps you heal just a little bit, enough to help you to be able to get to that next ceremony, then that's the goal. And it's great if you're having a hard time, you can drink a little bit of that water, or if you're aching somewhere, you can splash it on yourself, or you can wash with it, and that's like keeping that ceremony time going in your heart until you make it to your next ceremony. So that's all I think I'm going to share today, and hope you have a beautiful day. I'll see you in the next ceremony. Bye for now.